Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, a good game stands on golden sands and watches my computer as it crashes. Anyway, I'm here to talk about Bioshock compared to System Shock. I'm sure a bunch of you people want to know my opinion. I've been asked this quite a few times, and I'm finally going to make a video about it. And let me get this straight first. Everything I'm about to say about Bioshock, it is still a good game. Yes, it is a good game. But here's where the mess comes along. I realized this the moment I started playing. It is simply System Shock 2 duplicated and painted over, and then simplified a little. Now I'm going to go into detail about all that. One, the storyline, although it may seem different and it's based around genetic modification and Adam and Big Daddies and little girls that you either kill or save, but a lot of the plot events are the same and placed in almost the exact same way. Let's see. And yes, look, I'm going to have to say this right now. There are spoilers for both System Shock 2 and Bioshock. If you haven't played either, then why the hell are you watching this? Okay. Now, beginning of Bioshock. Almost immediately, after your first almost tutorial level of swimming through the water, you end up in the first part of Rapture. And guess what happens? You're contacted by someone. Someone who seems to be of importance. And is not under a real identity. It's not them. But you don't know that till later, and then they betray you. That is just like with Polito, which is actually Shodan, guiding you through the Von Braun. It's exactly the same. And in almost the exact same point in the length of the game do you find out that is not actually Atlas, I believe? Yeah, it's Atlas and some other guy. But yeah. And also, once you get to that point and he guides you, you have to run for your life through a corridor that is crashing and filling with water, almost the same way you are running from a room filled, not filled, but it's depressurizing and about to break off into space, I think. Or does it just stay there? Anyway, that felt a lot like. Now, to get to the weapons. Most of the weapons are straight out designs of weapons in System Shock 2. You have your pistol, but you can also mod for greater ammunition or greater damage. Then you have your shotgun, of course. Then you have the assault rifle / Tommy gun, machine gun, which you get a lot faster in the game than you do in System Shock 2. You have multiple ammunition choices, which are almost the exact same type of ammunition. Let's see. The only one that's really different is the crossbow, but I think that's just to replace the exotic weapons that you didn't get. And thank God there weren't exotic weapons, because those probably would have been just as bad. But hey, a genetically altered gun would have been really interesting. Anyway, the plasmids, although they are kind of like side abilities, the only thing I noticed that reminded me heavily of System Shock 2 was that a lot of the side abilities had the character holding an orb in his hand. Now, how did that orb get there? Is it created by the hand itself? The genes creating this appendage in the palm? But it reminded me so much like the orb PSYOPs users use. Sorry, I'm just trying to put this all together. I never wrote it down. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it feels copied. Now, it's not a bad game. I had fun with it. But I actually felt like the first guy who talked to me was going to betray me. The moment I first heard him, I was like, well, that's interesting. It's a lot like Polito at the beginning. Then the room started flooding and collapsing, and I was like, oh, wait, it's like that time. Oh. And then I started to get more and more suspicious of this character, and it's like, oh, crap. He's going to pull a Shodan. And guess what? He did. I'd have to say the only real difference is that after he reveals himself, he really does mess you up. I mean, Shodan didn't really. Until the very end. But this guy, that was a little bit original, and I found that enjoyable as you were playing through, but your character is slowly dying. But, oh, and the fact that there are two sides that can kind of be considered enemy. There's Andrew Ryan, and then there's that Atlas guy. But yeah, I mean, you're stuck between two sides. Just like how you're stuck between the many and Shodan. And the first thing you do is wipe out the many. Just like how you wipe out Andrew Ryan. In a gut-wrenching scene. Whoa, I love that part. But yeah, although a whole bunch of it was, felt like it was deliberately copied, I also felt that they really tailored it to console games instead of computers. By removing the inventory system, removing most of the concept of skills in the way they were used in System Shock 2. Like research. Now, it is more satisfying to beat up a monster and hold up an organ and have to carefully research that with probably pouring chemicals on it or something, than just taking a photo of an enemy. How does taking a photo of an enemy research it? Okay? Especially since that research gave you stat bonuses against it. Just like research in System Shock 2. There is actually doors that require codes. Just like in System Shock 2. What else? The Big Daddies. They actually look a lot like assault drones. I mean, the first security robots you encounter. Although that's probably a bit too vague to talk about. But yeah. And although there were multiple endings, they really didn't do much. I mean, it didn't drastically alter the game depending on how you wanted to get an ending. If you wanted to get the good ending, sure, you were a little compromised by not having enough Adam, but I was able to go through it no problem. That was my first playthrough. Second playthrough, well, it was a lot easier, although I felt a bit guilty because I was killing little children. So the moral implication didn't really do much in the game. It felt like it was just kind of tacked on. But nevertheless, if you haven't played Bioshock and you want my opinion about it, pick it up, play it. You know what? It's a good FPS. It's solid. It's got more depth than other games out there. I mean, this isn't Doom 3 we're talking about, people. Don't worry about that. It's better than that. But yeah, I'd have to say the only reason it lost marks for me was that I was noticing way too many things that were originally in System Shock 2. I mean, not that that's a bad thing, but when I can actually tell that a plot twist is going to happen, because I played a game before it, I felt really annoyed about it. Anyway, it is a good game. I don't think I have to say that enough. It could have had a bit more originality in it. I might have enjoyed it more. Although, it was basically System Shock 2 light. And, yeah, well, hope you guys enjoyed hearing this, and see you guys. Work's on the way. If you know what I mean.